You're now tuning into
The Cover Gang.
What's going on, Cover Gang? We're here to recap our picks from Week 17. I got slaughtered. I got absolutely clobbered. I went 5-11. Probably the worst week of the year for me. Tyler, you went 7-9, so you did a little bit better than I did, but still a negative week. I think personally you bet some different lines after the movements and everything, but as of when we recorded, we both went under 500 this week. So disappointing performance, especially right here at the end before playoff time. But yeah, you really just, these games are tough to predict. You don't really know who's going to rest or what the game plan is for some of these teams. But big.
We had a bunch. I had a bunch of like half unit plays and stuff, and like we've said before, I usually am the type to bet every single game. You're the one. So a lot of times you'll say half unit and you won't even play it. And there was a few games that I was on the wrong side. I recommended the wrong side, but I only recommended the half unit, and I just stayed away from Chargers, Bills game, Eagles. I think I recommended half units on all of those just because it was big lines. And
yeah, by the weekend they were like juiced, like 13, 14. They were 10.
yeah,
10
it made me not want to grab it even more.
Right.
And yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I did flop on the Giants, Rams. At the time, I recommended half unit on that one too. I just never felt good about it, and then I was like, I'm gonna stick to my guns here and take the home dog, and it pulled through. So, but I'm 7-9. You're 5-11. But I think all the ones that we double unit or unit, we said put a unit and a half on, we hit.
Yeah, Saints was our biggest play of the week. Both double unit that one, so 4 total units on that for sure. It was our biggest, and then we both put a unit and a half on the Jags. That was a never in doubt play.
Yeah, I put a double unit on Packers against Minnesota last night, so that one cashed.
So the bigger plays we had, the ones we had higher confidence, definitely worked out. But some of those games, I just felt like I was way off, had the wrong read, especially the Bears and the Falcons. Like at this point, it's just the Falcons are just bad, and that was a really bad read just to take the Falcons +3 and to think that these teams are similar. You kind of have stuck with the Bears train and been riding that pretty good, and I got off at the wrong time. They keep covering and they keep having a top 15, top 10 defense right now. I mean, they're just a different team.
Yeah, I seen, and I meant to bring it up during the podcast that there could be some weather for that game, and I mean both teams like to run the football, so I don't know how much of that could have changed your opinion. But yeah, I mean Justin Fields,
Cardinals are just bad. And what is going, like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna keep Eberflus, and are they gonna keep Justin Fields? Like they might do it.
With them being such a losing organization in the past, I don't know, ever since I've been alive, I could see them keeping Justin
Making
Fields.
a mistake, right?
Yeah, putting a stake in the ground and like, okay, he's winning games. He's trending towards, where he has won, I think, 4 straight. But he's still completing under 60% of his passes. I know he's a double threat with his legs, and I don't know. If it was me, I would take Caleb Williams and trade Justin Fields to. I think the Falcons would be in the market for him, and they may even give a first or second. I'd definitely give a second round pick, if not a first round pick, for him. And I would take Caleb if I was Chicago, but yeah, the better. Like I said, he's played. We've said it week in and week out. He's playing every game for his career, whether that be in Chicago or not, and he's playing well. So
yeah, really,
he'll have some bites no matter what.
It's really,
I think
interesting.
I could see Chicago saying, "Oh, he ended the season good. Let's keep him."
I could too. I mean, he's really starting to build chemistry with DJ Moore and the players. It just feels like they could just, I think, probably make a mistake and keep him.
And it's funny because like that Washington and New England are both just hoping so bad that Chicago doesn't take Caleb Williams.
Right.
So that's part of it. After the season's over, you're building up to the draft. You'll start to hear a bunch of noise that Caleb isn't all that, blah blah blah, and it's really Washington and like New England scouts putting that out because they want him. It's weird. It's just so weird how NFL works that way. But
it's true.
But yeah, they should take Caleb. But I don't know. I mean, Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I think he'll be successful wherever he goes. But you got to get over 60% completion rate. That's not it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. They've kind of built that run offense culture there, so I just feel like getting a pocket passer like Caleb. I mean, at this point, they might not do it because their whole identity with Eberflus on that offense, it just seems like it's starting to click. It's finally late in the season. I don't know. It's going to be interesting what Chicago ends up doing. They got so much draft capital, and now finally their quarterback gamble is starting to look like it's paying off. So now they're just left with a big decision. But
Well, I'm not the biggest. Well, I'll say one more thing about it. I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams fan as like watching him how he reacts on the field and stuff. But I do think he's a generational talent, and so just for the league, I would like to see him go to a better organization than Chicago. Washington's obviously not been great over the past in our lifetimes either. I think they made a couple runs with Kirk Cousins, but. Yeah, if he was to end up as a Patriot, that'd be cool. But I don't know if Chicago will let that pick go or not. It's something. It's interesting. I'm sure we'll talk about it. We'll get on here some in the off season and after
draft,
kind of see.
yeah, draft day. Maybe we do like a live show or anything, watching it, react to it.
Yeah, we can do or maybe we can do what we think's gonna happen, and then do like a live reaction because I'm excited for the draft this year. So many good quarterbacks. You got Penix with Washington, Bo Nix, McCarthy even with Michigan. He's good. Jaden Daniels looked great at LSU this year, and then everybody thinks Drake May and Caleb Williams are going 1 and 2.
Yeah, that QB.
Marvin Harrison Jr. if he comes out, he's talking about staying at Ohio State. I think that would be dumb, but I think he'll come out.
Yeah, this QB class is going to be crazy. It's going to change the league for the next 10 years for sure. Yeah, no more Thursday night games, so we don't really have to give a look-ahead pick. There's some lines out there. The interesting thing about this next week is, like, there's a lot of teams that they really have no incentive to try super hard or play their starters, and it could be a lay-down spot for some of these teams, but we know how that works. That's kind of the perception, and maybe they don't. They just play well anyways, like the Ravens, the
Huntley
Browns.
came in last year and led Ravens to the playoffs. So
Right.
We're playing at home against the Steelers, and I think Steelers is favored by 3.5 on the road.
Yeah, and it's like even if it's a off game for the Ravens, like they're not trying their best, it just feels like they still. That's the value side now.
It could be a close game, yeah.
Yeah, at that point, -3.5 with Steelers is like, I don't know about it, but it's just gonna be a tough one to navigate. We'll see how we close out this week, but it's crazy. We're at the end, man. Fantasy playoffs, everything's right here at the end. We're about to start wild card weekend, so I'm hyped.
Yeah, even though we cover and we're recording right before Michigan and Alabama kick off, so I'm about to go down here and watch these two playoff games. That's pretty exciting, and yeah, the playoff mix. Ravens, they walked the dog on Miami. I hate to say that I didn't. It's not I told you so because I did think Miami felt like the sharper side at 3.5 for some reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a mismatch. Lamar, he said, "Oh, I can't put up numbers. 5 touchdowns, perfect pass rating."
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
It's pretty much. I mean, it would be hard for him not to win MVP at this point. I don't know. I think
he's like minus 9,000
is he
to win MVP. Yeah,
So, yeah. He's got that pretty locked up
it's
now.
locked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the MVP race has been wide open all year. It's bounced around between Prescott, Josh Allen, McCaffrey, Purdy, in the end zone Jackson. But what a year for him, all that contract trouble. I was kind of worried in the offseason going into this year. Like, I usually hate when players hold out that much for money, but doesn't seem to be a problem for Mr. Lamar Jackson. He knows what he's worth, I guess.
That's what we'll do next week, too, after, Wednesday we'll record our normal video with all our picks and our confidence in our picks and whatever. And then next week we'll recap the week, but then we'll also get to recap on how many playoff teams we got right. So that'll be cool. From the first video we done.
Yeah, I'm really hoping the Bills sneak in there, man. I mean, it's just coming right down to this last week. It looked like they were toast midseason. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. It could still happen. It's hard to believe, but I don't.
Well, if they win in Miami this weekend, they're the 2 seed. If they lose, then they need either the Jags or Steelers to lose to make the 6 or 7 seed.
And I
So,
could see the
and I
Steelers
think right
losing.
now, Bradley Chubb, defensive end for Miami, he tore his ACL. Is what they're. I think he's getting a second opinion, but I'm pretty sure it's torn. And Howard and Tua both went out late in the fourth quarter. So right now,
That's
Bills
huge.
are favored by 3 on the road. And Bills haven't looked great the past 2 weeks. Barely beat the Chargers, barely beat the Patriots. So I don't know. I mean, it kind of, from a bettor's perspective, I'm like, kind of like Miami plus 3 at home if Tua's cleared.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it would be
it's little brother versus big brother in that division. Bills have owned it for the past few years. So
yeah, and that's gonna be a big game of the year for us to predict and see how that AFC side of the playoff bracket goes, because they could shake up everything basically.
yeah,
But
Colts and Texans play. So whoever wins that one, I think, makes one of the wild card spots. And then like Jags win, they're in. They play the Titans.
who do you think right now would make a deeper run, the Colts or the Texans, if they got in?
Probably the Texans, because the Colts have just proved to be so bad on the road.
Yeah.
And unless Jacksonville lost and the Colts got they got the 4 seed, I could see even Cleveland going to Indianapolis again. I could see Indianapolis pulling it off. But yeah, I mean, whoever from that AFC South, Cleveland has to play, like, even though Cleveland's defense hasn't been as good on the road, it's gonna be tough. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I trust Jags, Texans, or Colts to beat the Browns at home.
Yeah, especially not at home. They've been really good at home this year, and like you said, the Colts and the Texans.
Well, it would be the Browns would be on the road in all those games, because they would win the division.
That's right. Okay, yeah, the Colts on the road. I mean, the Browns on the road at the Colts. Yeah, I could see the Colts pulling that out like an upset for sure.
Yeah, I could see Browns beating Texans and maybe even Jags, but somehow losing to the Colts. Are just good at home.
I know they're a sleeper team, and they just surprise you that they can keep punching back. Every time you score, they put up touchdowns with you, and it comes down to an overtime field goal or something. They're just hard to put away. But
Cleveland beat them in the regular season with, I think, P.J. Washington was quarterback. They beat them like 41-39. It was a really high score. It's the most points Cleveland's let up like all year.
Yeah,
it was on the road in Indy, so that'd be a cool little rematch. But I hope Jacksonville gets in. Trevor Lawrence, put something together. I think that's just better. And maybe C.J. Stroud gets the. I can't remember who's at home. I think it's Colts at Texans, but it may be in Indy.
What, this upcoming week?
Yeah,
it's Texans at Colts.
Oh, that is, man.
Mm-hmm.
Steichen might get his team to the playoffs.
I know. I mean, at this point, I think I would lean Colts in that kind of game. I don't know why.
I don't. What's the spread? I would say Colts favored by 2.5.
They're only favored by 1.
Oh man,
yeah, that's tough. I feel like you have to take Colts almost.
I do too, kinda. Yeah.
If it was at 2.5, I'd take Texans, but
yeah, I gotta think about that one some more. But yeah, no Thursday game, all Saturday and Sunday, so 2 full days of football. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm ready for it.
It's a good time in sports right now. We got college coming to an end, and the NFL, the playoffs just starting to happen. I'm ready. I need a bounce back week. That was the worst week of the year for me. I didn't bet a lot of those games I had half units on because it's just hard to get a read on some of these weeks, and this was definitely a week that not the playoff. I mean the football betting gods were not in my favor in this week. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, and we'll talk more about it in the off season. Maybe next year we go into saying, hey, if you got to pick a side, I would pick this one, but I'm not making this play, Yeah,
I mean,
like that.
I think that's kind of how we've discussed that it is anyway. You bet almost every game, and I don't, but I mean,
I think it is cool because most people don't pick every single game. So
yeah.
And just to see what you go on the year picking every single one is cool. So if you gun to your head, who would you take? I'd lean this way.
I'd like to see
but-
too how we actually did. We're going to tally up. Well, you know how we did the statistical recap last year. We'll tally up how we did in our double units. I mean, like last year we had 3-star confidence ratings, or 1 through 3 stars, and this year we had the unit size. I think we actually did a little bit better with our double unit plays this year than maybe overall record, like percentage wise. So I'm interested to see where that lands.
Yeah, and I mean, I had 2 or 3 times the title of the video this year was like Tyler's biggest bet. It's like a triple, quadruple,
Yep.
quintuple unit game. Like,
Your unit
put
size
the house on it.
changes throughout the year. That's just
Yeah, that's just how I do it every year. I can't help myself. No problem. We that's why we have the disclosure at the end. You know, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We don't, man. We might need to add it. But yeah, that's it for the recap. Disappointing week. We need a bounce back week. Stay safe. Happy New Year, everyone. Let's cover the spread in
New
week
Year.
18. Let's figure out what these teams are trying to do. Figure out some more about their game plans and injury reports and everything going into Wednesday. And let's see if we can dial it in.
Yep. Cover the spread.
Let's cover the spread. Peace.
Peace.